in order for us to uncover new information or create better understanding of our chosen topic in our future research. Again, thank you so much for coming and spending time with us. May God bless us, everyone. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Sir Jomar. This time is the acknowledgement of participants. Yesterday, I told you to prepare each group a nursery rhyme. So we will start with the group 1. Group 1, are you ready? Basig natulog na mo ha. Sorry for some delayed because of some technicalities po. Group 1, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Here we
Okay, are
are.
you ready to present your nursery rhyme?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you
Yes.
can start now.
Okay. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How
The
about
little wonder what you are.
up
Above
above the
the
world
world
so high,
so high.
like a
Like a
diamond
diamond
in the
in the
sky.
sky.
Twinkle,
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 little
little
star.
star.
How I
How I
wonder what
wonder what
you
you
are.
are.
Up above the world so high, like a
Like a
diamond in
diamond
the
in
sky.
the sky.
Twinkle, twinkle,
Twinkle,
little
little
star.
star.
How
How
I
I
wonder
wonder
you
what you are.
above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky.
Okay, thank you. Group 1, sa inyong Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Okay, let me call for attendance. Kagabgab, Rachel.
Present, ma'am.
Mabanag, Leonard.
Present, ma'am.
Gapor, Giselle.
Present, ma'am.
Iltor, G. Bandoy.
Present po.
Rose Wendelin.
Yes, present.
Ibanya,
Present.
Ibanez, Blessed Jean. Sarah Jen M. Adobo. Hiroshi Rivero.
Present po.
Sala. Adamjo J. Mendez. Bahulay Arbilin.
Present, ma'am.
Korogan Kingsley Song.
Present, ma'am.
And Dupa Jerry.
Present, ma'am. Present.
Okay, let us call the
Wala
group.
ko na
Kasi wala na tawag.
kinisala.
Ay, tapos na ma'am. Catherine C. Kinisala.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Walang absent po sa group 1. Okay, let us continue with the group 2 for their nursery rhyme.
Good afternoon, everyone. Group 2, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Shoulders
Listen to.
listen to.
Listen
Head,
to.
shoulders, knees, and
Listen to. Listen to.
we are from group 2.
Group 2.
Okay, thank you, group 2. Cosmiano Royaline, are you there? Ma'am Bukong Irene.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Nabri Elvin.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Relio Paul. Ma'am Sanchez Ira.
Present.
Ma'am Gitubig Ligaya.
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am Adan Stephanie Rose.
Present.
Ma'am Olay Rosalyn. Tubaon Joanne. Ma'am Soniel Rochelle Myla. And
Present,
Ma'am
ma'am.
Rose Cherry Ann.
Present, ma'am.
Present.
Okay, let us continue with the group 4.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Ako, mga tapos ako pinakanindot na nursery rhyme. 1, 2. Here go. 1, 2, ready, go.
Baba.
Baba, have you everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes,
Master. One for the
One
master.
for
One
the
for the
master,
master.
one for the
One for the little boy.
group for everyone. Good afternoon sa tanan.
Okay, thank you, group 4. Ma'am Paris Eden, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am Sinabre Julie Gel, Ma'am Gindolman Mahel, Ma'am Oraston, Ma'am Celiona Rogeline, Ma'am Rebecca, Ma'am Indico Chris Ann, Ma'am Rosine Mate, Ma'am Cabrera German, and Ma'am
Present,
Eriza Jen, and Ma'am Plata Jenaline.
Present.
Okay, let us go to the group 5. Group 5.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone.
3, 2, 1, start.
Baby shark do 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 baby shark do 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 baby shark do 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 baby shark baby shark group 5.
Okay. Okay, thank you, group 5. Sir Christian Joel Obutcon, Sir Annie Taxi, Ma'am Shane Flor, Ma'am Joylyn Amado, Sir Jeffrey Sir Jamer Kikaba, Ma'am Eileen Bahian, Ma'am Maricel P. Ma'am Aiza Jane Reyes, Kathleen Miranda, and Ma'am Claudine Pasyente.
Present, Mom.
Okay, let us go to the group 3.
Okay, group 3, are you ready?
Yes, we are
Yes,
ready.
ma'am.
Okay, sige. 1, 2, 3, go!
Johnny, Johnny, yes, Papa. 8
Meeting
sugar, no, Papa. Telling lies, no, Papa. Open your mouth. Ha, ha, ha.
We are group 3.
Okay. Thank you, group 3. Ma'am May Albert Sevilla, Ma'am Jessa Soterania, Sir Leo Montenegro, Ma'am Jomar
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am Shana Annette Lapitag, Ma'am Lendelin Bahe, Ma'am Rachel Minuer, Ma'am Dorango Marlene, Ma'am Concha Maria Christine Gil, and Ma'am Ramas Rosemary.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let us hear from Ma'am Princess Alive Baguod. Ma'am, can you have your nursery rhyme?
Hindi pagapalo pa ba ako? um, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Princess Alive. Okay. This time, let us acknowledge the participants for this afternoon seminar. At this juncture, let us hear a message by our IC204 instructor, Ma'am Princess Alive T. Baguod Handugan. A round of applause, please.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so my due respect to our university president, Dr. Nemesio G. Loayon, other key officials, to the Dean of Graduate Studies, Dr. Evelyn T. Bagood, to our invited resource speaker for today's webinar, Ms. Lovely Gay E. Tagupa, ma'am, my dear students, good day. So we are now on our third webinar, so a webinar series on research methodology. So our invited speakers in every webinar are really notable, no? So hindi sila basta-basta. So looking back, when I was studying with my master's degree, sana meron din kaming ganitong subject dati. So I was enrolled in the old curriculum. Well, we had a research seminars, but we pay 500 pesos for every seminar. No, dili siya free. Um, so, yun na, makalang ko na sana may amo sabing ani sa una, no? So, mga bagtikawan yung mga speakers, no? So much for that. So, thank you, facilitators, for making this webinar happen, and to the participants also, no? These are prized knowledge shared by our invited resource speakers. So, please indulge and keep all in mind everything that you will learn in this webinar. So, good luck and enjoy. That's all.
Thank you, Mom, Princess Alib. This time is the introduction of our resource speaker by Ma'am Rosemary P. Ramas.
Thank you, ma'am. So before I will start, I would like to express my deepest respect to the Dean of Graduate Studies, Dr. Evelyn T. Baguod, to our charming and intelligent instructor, Ma'am Princess Olive T. Baguod Handugan rather, and to all the participants present in the platform, a pleasant afternoon to all of us. I am so pleased to have the chance to introduce to you our resource speaker for today's webinar. We are so lucky that she really find a way to be with us despite of her occupied weekend. Our resource speaker is a native of Trento, Agusan del Sur. She is a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English at Philippine Normal University, Agusan, in the year 2007. And with her enthusiasm, she continued and finished her master's degree at Philippine Normal University with the degree of Master of Arts in Education, major in English Language Teaching in the year 2017. Her employment experiences made me proud. She became a passionate and has been awarded as an outstanding teacher. She is currently a senior high school coordinator and has been awarded and a senior high school research teacher since the K-12 started at Libertad National High School, Libertad, Bunawan, Agusan del Sur. For almost 7 years as a research teacher, her knowledge and expertise in research become wider and deeper, and she already attended various research trainings. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the woman that I am referring to is none other than Miss Lovely Gay E. Tagupa. Let's give her a virtual round of applause, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Rose, for that generous introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, audible.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, fellow educators. And hi, mga kadip-ed.
Hello.
Hello.
No, ma'am.
Hello,
Ma'am.
ma'am.
Good afternoon.
So, thank you for the trust, confidence, and opportunity that you give to me as one of your discussants for your webinar series in research. Thank you so much. Okay, my task for this afternoon is to discuss to you about chapter 3 alone, no, which is research methods or research methodology. Are you ready, mga kadiped?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. So here it is. Okay. Klaro siya?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am. Klaro ra, ma'am.
Okay. So our objectives for this afternoon are identify the parts of the chapter 3, then most importantly is apply the concepts that you will learn, no, from the discussion, no, especially in your future researches. So let's start. So it is expected that the contents of your chapter, no, especially the chapter 3, should be mentioned in the table of contents. Then, before you will begin the discussion of the different parts of your research paper, so you must have first an introductory paragraph or an overview of this chapter to give your reader an understanding as to its coverage. Okay, so I will present to you an example. Okay, so that's what am I referring, no? So you must have first an introduction, an introductory paragraph or an overview. So what is chapter 3 all about? So you have there the research design, research participants, the research instrument, data collection procedure, and data analysis. So here are the following sections or the components of the chapter 3. First, we have the research design. So you might wonder why there is a figure, no, 3.1. So 3, that signifies the chapter's number, while 1 is the first component of the chapter 3. Get it? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
The second component is the participants or the subject of the study, the setting of the study, the research locale, the research instrument, the data gathering procedure, and lastly, the data analysis. So, under the chapter 3, we have six sections or components. So, we will discuss this one, one by one. The first part or the first section is what we call the research design. So, in the course of the making of your research, so you must have already in your mind what would be the design, no? What would be the research design that you are going to use in your study? So we have qualitative research and we have the quantitative research. I guess so you have already a knowledge on what are the types of the research design under the qualitative. So we have example, phenomenology, we have case study, we have ethnography, discourse, content analysis. So these are under the qualitative research. While under the quantitative research, so we have what are examples of the research design under the quantitative research? So we have descriptive study. Another is we have correlational, no? Another is experimental, and so on and so forth. So those are the different types of the research design under the quantitative. So as I've said a while back, that in the course of the making of your research study, so you have already know in your mind what type of research design you're going to use. So as to how you will organize your research design, no, especially kanang paghanay nato sa ato ang paragraph. So what must be the content of the first paragraph? So we have the first sentence of this section states the research design, whether experimental, correlational, descriptive, quantitative, qualitative, or a combination of both, historical, etc. So which you're going to use in your study. So imuha siyang ikuan diha unsa ang imuhang gamiton nga research design sa imuhang naplanuhan nga i-conduct nga study. Then after that, so this will be followed by the sentences that will support your chosen research design. You may do this by explaining why you chose this design or by explaining what procedure or instrument you are using for this design. Okay, so I have here an example, no? So this is taken from my thesis, no, during my master's degree. So my study is about the reading proficiency of grade 7 towards an intervention program. Although reading has been a very common subject in research, but however, in our school, reading has become a perennial problem, no? Way back 2017, in which most of our, di kay most yun, no? Kanang halos sa amuang grade 7 students are under frustration level, no? Frustration level. So that is why I decided to conduct a study, no, on this particular problem. So example, so this study is a descriptive case study. It aimed to determine, so in my first paragraph, we have there what type of research design I use in my study. So we have their descriptive case study. So we, in the second paragraph, in the second sentence rather, so I give here a brief description why I use this kind of research design. So we have there, it aimed to determine and describe the reading proficiency of the grade 7 students in Libertad National High School. The design incorporated purposive process of gathering, analyzing, classifying data about the prevailing conditions and making appropriate and accurate interpretation on the data gathered. So explain mo unsa nga design imong gigamit plus a brief description, no, about that kind of research design on how it is used in your respective context. Okay, hello, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for the response. Okay, so if you have questions, so you may reserve it later, no? So I will answer it to the best I can. The second section of chapter 3 is what we call the participants or the subject of the study. So you will choose participants of the study if you are gathering data from human beings. So kung baga, ang imuhang mga respondents, so you are going to collect data from the people, no? So you will use the subject of the study if you are gathering from non-human biological beings, phenomenon, or non-animate things. Kung mauna siya ang imuhang respondents sa imuhang study or diha ka mukuha og data. So muna siya ang kalahian, no? Participants / or subject of the study. So in this section, you will explain the respondents or participants of the study and provide reasons on your choice. So you will then write the sampling procedure that you employed in this study and its method of identifying the samples. So explain mo kinsa ang respondents or participants sa imong study and you will provide reasons of your choice. So ngano sila man ang imuhang gipampili, no, as participants of your study. So but bear in mind nga dili ing ana kadali magpili og participants of the study. So you will undergo another process, no, kanang ginaingon natog sampling procedure. So I guess Nakadiscuss na mo anang sampling procedure or nakabatay mahinumduman aning ginaingon nga sampling procedure? Participants? Do you have any knowledge about sampling procedure?
Random sampling po, ma'am.
Random sampling, okay, that is under the probability sampling. No, naamang gutay duha kanang ginaingon nato probability sampling and non-probability sampling, no? So muna nga based on my experience, no, when I had my kanang during my master's degree, so it's the verdict of your panelists, your data analyst, and your advisor, no? Sila ang mupili kung unsa nga sampling procedure ang inyuhang gamiton sa inyuhang napilian nga subject of your study. So, pero, nindot gyud nga naadjud kay experience about or naatay knowledge on the different sampling procedure. Pero if I am going to discuss this one by one, katong mga sampling procedure, under the probability sampling and non-probability sampling, so it will take mga 2 hours, no? Mga participants. So, muna nga, pag muingon ta, I will just give you a brief na lang, brief description about idea or concept about probability sampling, no? So, pag muingon ta probability sampling, it is a sampling scheme in which every unit in the population has a chance of being selected in that sample. So, and this probability can be accurately determined. So, kumbaga, from the population na kuhaan mo og sample, so na equal chance. So, sila, no, it might be nga na chance sa ilahatanan nga mapili, no, sa kana nga nga mahimo nimong participants of your study. So, equal chance. Okay, so we have there, if you are using probabilistic sampling, so under the probabilistic sampling or, katong giingon nimo ganina, sir, random sampling or simple random sampling, kay naa man na siya duha. Kanang ginaingon natog simple random sampling, stratified random sampling, cluster sampling, and other kinds of sampling under the probabilistic sampling, no? So state the formula and the margin of error that you will consider in identifying the sample. So sa simple random sampling, it might be nakabuhat na mo ani, pero wala lang ta kasayod nga mo dito siya ang pangalan. Example, kanang mamili ka og imuhang participants from the population in which nakay pangalan sa ilang tanan, no? Mo na ginatawag natog sampling frame. For example, ang imong participants giplanuhan nimo kay grade 7, all the grade 7 students of your respective school. Karon, you must have a list of all the names of the grade 7 students. So from that, simple random, pwede imo nang pilo-piloon, pagkahuman, you will get a hat, no, kalo, ibutan nimo dito tanan, tapos kung kinsa ang imong mahubutan, for example, ang gi-identify sa imong data analyst nga 60 ka participants amo hatag og data, no, sa imuhang study. So from that, so 60 ka buok ang imuhang hubuton dito sa kalo, no, in which naa dito tanan ang pangalan. So kumbaga, naghatag tag equal chance sa tanang grade 7 nga mapilian sila to be our sample. So nakuha na to ang idea sa simple random sampling. Participants? Yes. So, muna siya simple random sampling. Okay. So, later, maghatag ko sa inyo example aning stratified random sampling, no? Okay. So, muna siya. Sampling procedure, i-appeal na nimo siya discuss dito sa imuhang 3.2, no? Participants or the subject of the study. So, nakuha ginaingon nato nga non-probabilistic sampling. Or natin ginaingon nga purposive sampling, snowball sampling, etc. So discuss the criteria that you considered in choosing your samples or respondents. Okay, example. In the previous researches nga gibuhat sa ako ang mga estudyante, the lived experiences kay most of them ang ilahang gipili is phenomenological research, no, qualitative, because ang grade 11, if you are familiar, grade 11, second sem nila, nana sila PR1. So PR1 concentrates mostly on practical, on qualitative research. While ang PR2 nila is quantitative research. So sa ilang qualitative, one of the problems nga na-encounter namo manggod sa school kay daghan may mga estudyante nga kanang mga buntis, no? So muna nga gikanda kanila og study ang katong mga teenage pregnancies, the lived experiences of the single parents kay kuan man sila kay gipambiyaan man. Tapos nagkuan pa gid sila og teenage pregnancy, so doble siya. So mutong nga ang gibuhat nila dili probabilistic sampling ang gigamit kay dili man tanan population sa amo ang school nga buro. So muna ang ilang gikuha is ang ilang gipili nga sampling procedure is non-probabilistic kaning ginaingon natog purposive sampling. Kay ang gipili lang man kung kinsa lang tong mga estudyante nga mga naburos. So muto yung ilahang gikandakan og study. So we also have snowball sampling kanang ginaingon nato nga referral. Kumbaga, from that respondent kita indahay si student A, isa siya sa mga gikandakan nato no kanang naburos siya. Pwede ta mangayo og information sa iyaha kung naa ba siya kaila nga estudyante nga susama pud sa iyaha og experience katupong naburos. So kanang ginaingon natog snowball sampling. So muna siya no kanang ginaingon natog referral system. So naay isa ka sample in which mangita tag isa ka sample nga same experience sa iya pero nakakuha tag information from our katong pinakauna nato nga respondent or sample nato. So daghan pay klase sa ginaingon nato nga non-probabilistic sampling. No? So kaning duha mo ni siya ang pinaka most common nga ginagamit kung non-probabilistic sampling ang atuang gamiton sa atuang sampling procedure sa pagkandak nato sa atuang study. Okay? So kani this is an example of a stratified random sampling. So kung probabilistic sampling ang imuhang gamiton, specifically stratified random sampling, so mo ni siya. So the title of the table is Distribution and Strata, pagmintag strata, group, no? Per section in grade 12 students. So if you notice, we have 3 groups. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. Okay. Then, gilahi-lahi siya, no? Population per section. Pila ang lalaki, pila ang babae. So in Section 1, there are 15 males. There are also 16 males. Then 20 males, 6 males, females ni siya sa kuan sa section 2. Females ni siya, sorry for the kuan, clerical error. Then section 3, 5 males, 22 females. Then from that population nikuha ka og sample. So na 8 sa 15 ka lalaki, nakuha kag 8 ka lalaki, then gikan sa 16 pod ka babae, nakuha po ta og 8 pod ka babae. That is for section 1. Then for section 2, 20 males. So nakuha ka og napulo ka lalaki. Then sa 6 ka females, so 3 pod ang atuang gikuha. So kumbaga from the population nato per section, then per gender nila, so nakuha po ta og kana yung sample nila, no? Kung pila sila kabuk atong kaon. Then naapod siya no sample for pilot testing. So gikan na po sa 8 ka lalaki, nakuha na po ta 2 ka lalaki, no? From that para mo undergo sa ginaingon nato pilot testing. So pag moingon ganit ang pilot testing, mura ba siya trial nato ba? Before nato i-conduct ang ato ang final instrument dito sa ato ang respondents. So ato sa mag-pilot testing sa testingan lang sa nato so that we will know what are the items to be discarded. For example, sa ako ang case, sa ako ang study, proficiency. So nagbuhat ko og reading proficiency test, no? On the different reading skills. Adapted from Bilyamin 1990. So naman siya dito gipang identify nga mga reading skills that should be mastered by each student. So muto nga nagbuhat ko og test from it, no? Different skills sa reading. So before na ako siya conduct gid sa Libertad National High School, nag-pilot testing, gitry sa nako siya sa Kapatungan National High School so that I will know kung unsa nga mga items ang ipang-discard. So unsa man ang mga items nga ipang-discard? Katong too easy, itong sayon ra kaayo, o katong too difficult, kanang lisod. So once mabalaan na nimo unsa tong mga items, so imo na tong ipang-discard, then you will make another reading proficiency test katong final na gyud nga mo na gyud i-administer nimo dito sa imuhang final respondents. Okay. So, question about this one. Participants, are you still there?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
May
No
kamutan
questions.
na ani? Okay, so kung wala, let's proceed to the next slide. So I have here. So unsaon nato pagbuhat ang 3.2. So again, this is taken from my thesis, no? So the participants, so I will just read, the participants of this study were all the grade 7 students of Libertad National High School, Libertad, Bunawan, Agusan del Sur. Since the study is using, so unsa nga sampling procedure ang akong gigamit, complete enumeration method. It's because gamay lang man ang grade 7. Pag moingon ganita og complete enumeration method, wala tay kanang i-exempt. Tanan sila mo undergo sa ginaingon nato nga participants, no? Tanan sila participants sa atuang study. Pag moingon tag complete enumeration, a sampling procedure in choosing the respondents. However, so during the conduct, na ako'y na-encounter nga problem, so pwede po di mo siya ibutang diha. However, of the 182 total population of grade 7 students, only 179 were present during the conduct of the reading proficiency test. So, man ang 11. So, 11 were absent due to personal and family-related reasons. So, if you will encounter same problem with this, so you will state this one in this part of your sa research methodology nato or research method. So, if ever namin na-encounter nga mga problem. So, klaro no, naadi rin nga itong participants, kinsa nga itong participants, o unsa nga sampling procedure ang atong gigamit sa pagpili nato sa atuang participants of the study. Okay. So, question? So, I will proceed to the next. So, the third component of chapter 3 is what we call setting of the study, or in other researches, unsay gigamit nila nga term, research locale. So write the place or locale where you are going to conduct your study and explain the reason why you chose this setting. So unsa nga lugar, o explain nimo ngano gipili nimo na nga lugar nga kandakan nimo sa imuhang study. So, insert map if necessary. The map should be labeled as figure 3.3.1. So, 3 is the chapter's number, 3 is the components number, then 1 is the first figure. So, muna siya ipasabot sa 3.3.1. Okay. So, pwede ka mag-insert og mapa no, sa lugar kung angan nimo gikandak ang imuhang study. Of course, so manahid na pud ka, no, especially pwede ka mo ato dito sa munisipyo or sa barangay kung aha makita nato ang mapa sa lugar nga kandakan nimo. So then you will ask permission from them nga imo siyang i-appeal sa imuhang study. Then describe the significant characteristics of the research locale. So, unsa man ang ginaingon nato nga significant characteristics? Example, people's way of living, practices, no? So, unsa ang klase sa ilahang panginabuhi dito sa lugar, mga customs and traditions nila, common, typical job, or source of living. So, unsa ang mostly trabaho sa mga taong gapuyo dito. Especially if the location of the study has bearing on the research problem, topic, method, and results. So therefore, Not only the name of the place ang imong ibutang, but you must have the characteristics of the particular place. Okay, so katong gi-mention nako ganina. So muna atong ipang-appeal ni ana. Okay, so I have here an example. So same ra gyapon dito na ko gikuha ni sa ko ang paper, no? So, the study was conducted in Libertad National High School, an empowered school located. So, naghatag ko og brief description about ang school malocate. Then, unsa siya nga school, no? Empowered school. Situated in the heart of Barangay Libertad, Bunawan, Agusan del Sur. Another significant description is, it is a medium school founded in the year 1995 through the joint efforts of municipal and barangay officials. Okay, so the school caters the diverse learners who came from far-flung areas. So ang among mga estudyante, no, naga-cater ni og mga estudyante nga gikan sa mga lagyo nga lugar and flood-prone barrios such as Antioquia, Hubang, New Visayas, and Imelda respectively. So most of the students are coming from families with incomes dependent to agriculture. Since the place is surrounded by rice paddies, no, mga kahumayan, representing the main livelihood of the people. So the people's way of living, so naapil na siya. So at present, another significant feature sa school nga naay kalambigitan sa atong ginakandak na study is, at present, the school has a population of 621 who belong to the different social and economic status. Okay. Students are in different tribes. Since within the barangay alone, it consists of various tribes like that of Manobo, Higaonon, Banwaon, Kamayo, and Talaandi. Visayan is the dominant dialect spoken in the community, although indigenous and other dialects are also spoken among some segments. So if you notice, katong gipang-mention ganina nga mga significant characteristics of the research local naa siya diri sa atuang gi-describe siya or gi-present siya sa setting of the study. So we have there, so as I mentioned a while back, so you can insert, no, a map of the research local. So figure 3.1. So 3, chapters number 1, this is the first figure under this chapter. So location of the study. So muna iyahang mapa. Okay, next. So in short, unsay kanang mahimo nato nga focus question sa 3.3, unsay kalambigitan sa lugar nga kandakan nimo og study, no, sa imuhang present or sa imuhang ginakandak nga study. So will make it sense, naabay sense, or significant ba ka na siya nga lugar. So muna ato ang i-consider nga pangutana if we are crafting our 3.3 or the setting of the study. Okay, next one. Another component or section of the chapter 3 is what we call the research instrument. So pag mayroong tag research instrument, it refers to the tool that we're going to use for us to gather data. So we have there, so how are we going to structure, no, organize our paragraphs under the 3.4. So begin by discussing what type of instrument you are using. So unsay imong gamiton nga instrument? Mogamit ba ka checklist? Mogamit ba ka og survey questionnaire? Mogamit ba ka og kanang test, no, sa imuhang pag-gather nimo og data? And describe the contents of this instrument and what data can be extracted using this instrument. So aside from identifying what type of instrument to be used, is you will describe what are the contents of the instrument. So unsa ang kayang mga unod, no? And what data can be extracted using this instrument. So kung mogamit ka ana nga instrument, unsa nga mga data ang ma-extract from that instrument. So you will write it in the first paragraph. First part sa imuhang paghanay nimo, no, sa imuhang kasi tawag na to pag-structure nimo sa imong paragraphs under the 3.4. After which, indicate whether you designed it or adapted it. So, ikaw ba'y nagbuhat ni Ana personally, or you just adapt it from previous researches? Imo lang ba siyang gikuha sa uban nga mga researches, no? Or standardized test ba na siya nga nag-undergo na og validity? So pwede nimo na siya i-discuss diha. Do not forget to mention the source for instruments that were adapted. So of course, acknowledge the source kung ahan nimo siya gikuha, kung imo man galing nang siya gikuha. Pero kung Pero kung ikaw jud mismo ang nagbuhat, so no need na. No? So developed by you. Discuss the validation procedures and the reliability of your instrument. So, unsa ang mga proseso nga imuhang naagian in making your instrument or in crafting your instrument? So, unsa ang mga validation procedures? Nag-undergo ba siya og content validity? Imo ba siyang gipa-check sa mga language experts, no? As to the ang iyahang mga mechanics or reliability of your instrument. Okay, example. In my thesis, gyapon ni siya. So, in my case, so I was the one, no? Ako gid ang nagbuhat sa kuwang instrument. So, akong explain unsa ang process nga giagian ato. So, there's only one instrument utilized in my study, no? In which ako lang siyang gihati into two parts. So, the first half dealt on the profile of the students in terms of their first language spoken and exposure to print and non-print reading materials. While the other half is the reading proficiency test, which covered the different reading skills presented by Williamine as adapted from Godel. So the instrument was validated by 5 language experts who are teaching English for almost 10 years. So ang mga gikuha na ko nga mga content validators are still from Philippine Normal University. Okay, so that's how you will organize or craft your what we call this one 3.4, your research instrument. So describe the parts, how many parts are there, and unsa ang procedure nga naagian sa imuhang instrument. Next one. 3.5, this is the 5th one. Data gathering procedure. So, how are you going to gather your data? So, in this section, diri nimo na siya ihanay tanan. So, unsa na po nato pag-structure, no? Ang ato ang kaninga part. So, what would be the content of the first paragraph? So the first paragraph talks about the preliminary procedures done by the researchers before gathering the data. So before ka nag-gather sa imong data, unsa man ang mga preliminary activities na gibuhat nimo? So this includes the preparation and distribution of intent letters to the different concerned offices or agencies. So there, later I will present to you a sample of this. So muna imuhang, describe what are the preliminary activities that you're going to do before you will distribute your instrument. Next is, the second paragraph discusses the mining of data using the instruments developed and or adapted to the target respondents. You should be able to enumerate the procedures from setting the respondents, distribution of materials, up to the retrieval of instruments. So therefore, in the second paragraph, you will write there what would be the actual process sa pag-distribute nimo sa imuhang instrument. And not only the distribution, but including the retrieval, how you set up the respondents, kung saan pag-distribute ang materials, then how are you going to retrieve? So you will discuss all of those things here under the second paragraph. Next. So the last paragraph indicates the proper handling of data extracted from the respondents by keeping the data anonymous and or confidential. So i-discuss po nimo under your 3.5, how are you going to handle the data that you extracted from your respondents. So of course, dili man na nimo siya ipakita sa uban. So make it confidential, as possible. So in short, in 3.5, enumerate all the activities you will undertake to complete your study. So describe each activity in detail to help future researchers who would want to replicate your study. So naman yung mga future researchers nga gusto pod mo replicate sa imuhang study. Pag mo replicate, so gusto nila i-copy ang imuhang study, no? Or gusto nila nga kasi tawag na to ha? Replicate. Gusto nila kopyahon ang imong study or same study ang ilahang i-conduct same sa imuha. Okay, example. Kay kaninga to ang 3.5, pwede nato ni siya i-hanay using graphic organizer, no? Okay, so example na to ani. Later, no, ipakita na ko sa inyo. Aside sa inyo siyang i-hanay with the use of graphic organizer, so you will discuss each of the steps, no? Each of the steps to be undertaken. Okay, we have there step 1. Una, construction and validation of instrument. So, mag-craft ka, pag umanin mo o construct sa imuha, ipa-validate nimo ang instrument. So, naigit siya iyang title, no? Then after which, imo na dayon siyang i-discuss. So, the researcher devised an instrument to be used in her study. This was segmented into 2 parts, the profile and the reading proficiency test, and submitted for content validation to the language experts who have been teaching English for almost 10 years. So, ingon ana siya. Step 2, paghuman o construct o validate sa imong instrument, unsay sunod na hitabo. So, we have there, revision of the instrument. So, syempre, kay ilaha man tong gi-validate, so daghan dito siya yung mga, man, errors, no? As to the content, so, kay tungod atong mga errors na ilahang gipangkuan, pag-validate nila, so imo to siyang ipang-revise, no? Based on the suggestions, comments nga, naka-indicate dito sa imong instrument after the validation. Okay. So, diri participants, you need to sa PNU ang ilang practice kung magpa-validate ka sa instrument, so you need to pay. So, way back 2017, each validator, you will pay 500 for each validator. So, kung nakay 5 validators, so I do not know kung pila na rate karon kung magpa-validate ka og instrument. So, ingon ana. Next is, after ma-validate, you will revise, no? Revision of the instrument. So, after the validation process, the researcher incorporated all the validators' comments and suggestions and revised the instrument. So, imong ipang-incorporate tanan unsa tong mga comments and suggestions sa imuhang instrument. Para unsa man siya? Para wala nang error, no? As to the content. Next is, what would be the next step? Kaya na-validate naman siya. After na-validate, na-revise na. So, you need to, so in my case, nag-undergo ko og pilot testing. So, administration of the pilot testing, gitry sa anak ko sa uban nga students. So, to test its reliability, the researcher conducted a pilot test to grade 7 students of Kapatungan National High School. There are only 60 grade 7 students enrolled in the school, with 2 sections only for the grade 7 level. Each of the sections was represented by 15 selected students who answered the 132-item reading proficiency test in its tryout. So, pag human og administer sa pilot testing, di-analyze ang result, no? Students' result in the pilot testing. So, unsay gibuhat sa researcher? Kung ingani nga process ang inyong i-follow, no? Pero it depends upon what would be your kanang chosen study. Kay lahi-lahi man taong mga areas. Pero sa mga sa English, mo gyud ni kasagaran ang ginapabuhat, no? So, analysis of the students' result in the pilot testing. So, the researcher coded, tabulated, and summarized for item analysis of data, applying the test on difficulty and discrimination in each item in the reading test administered. Basig mangutana mo, ma'am, or kinsay mag-analyze sa result, students' result. So kadiri nga stage na naman mo ani data analyst. So pwede na nga siya na ang mag-analyze sa result. Then after which ay balon man na ninyo ang inyong advisor. Then ang panel na pod nga ingani ang nahitabo. So matabangan bali mo dili gud ingon nga mag-inusara ra mo ani diri nga mga time, no? Next is after na analyze ang result, okay, gi-revise na pod ang instrument kay gipang. Okay, so too easy and difficult items were discarded based on the result of the test on index of difficulty and discrimination. So from 132 item test, it trimmed down to 66 item reading proficiency test. So katong 132 items nga giansiran sa mga bata dito sa school nga dito ta nag-pilot test, nahimo na lang siyang 66 item. No, katong final na gyud nga mo i-administer sa final nga respondents ato nga time. Okay, so pag human ang revise sa instrument, so what would be the next step? So administration of instruments to the final respondent. So diri na ni nga time sa Libertad National nako gi-administer. So the researcher, so imo gyapon siyang i-explain, no? The researcher requested the help of her fellow English teachers for the administration of the test. Prior to the test administration, she oriented the proctors to explain to grade 7 students the purpose of the test and orient them on how to accomplish the part of the instrument which asked about the student's profile. Students were given 2 hours to answer the profile and the reading proficiency test. So tanan nga pagabuhaton nimo imo gina siyang butang diri tanan, no? Imo siyang magabura ka aning nag-narrate, no? Nag-narration. So kung unsay nahitabo una hangtod na human. Okay, after which, no? Kay nahuman namang upa-answer ang mga bata. Unsay gibuhat nimo? Retrieval of the instruments. To ensure high percentage of retrieval, the instruments were collected by the researcher herself right after the respondents answered it. Then after which, kina-retrieve naman, nabalik niya siya. So what would be the last step? So statistical treatment of the data. So after the instruments were retrieved, it was coded, tabulated, and consolidated for the statistical and analysis and treatment of data. So going na ta sa atuang 3.6. So this is the way how we're going to arrange, no, our 3.5. Okay. So sa akong gingon ganina, we can make use of the graphic organizer para kanang dali ra siya masabtan ang process, no, on how we conduct. So here it is. So from the construction, so kung unsay naa didto, so imo rin siyang kopyahon. From the construction, then revision, administration, analysis, nag-revise na po sa instrument, administration, retrieval, then statistical treatment. Then, below, you will write there figure 3.2 because this is the second figure under the chapter 3. So, steps undertaken in the conduct of the study. Okay, so this is for 3.5. Now, let's proceed to 3.6. So, what is the last part, no? Last component of the chapter 3. So, 3.6, the data analysis. So, discuss the procedures as how you will record, how you will score, record, encode, and analyze your data to answer the research problem. So, kay ang atuang research problem, no, will be answered under our chapter 4. Katong interpretation of data dito na. So kung sa tong mga research questions, no, nato under the 1.3, no, statement of the problem. So ang answer ato niya is naa dito sa chapter 4. So in my experience, no, I will just share to you, in my experience, kung unsa kakuti ang TNU ato nga time, so ila yun nang tandion. Kung unsa ang imuhang question, research question number 1, so dapat ang answer niya ana moto siya ang dito sa table 4.1. So ingon ana siya. Okay. So next is, if you will use a special form for recording or accumulating data, place an example in the appendix section. So say for example, pag magamit na mo og mga butanta, software, no, sa pag-record or pag-accumulate ninyo data, so pwede na ninyo ibutang dito sa appendix section ninyo sa inyong paper. No? So appendix section na dito sa pinakaluyo. Okay, next, if you are conducting a phenomenological study, you should describe the sophisticated ways how the data would be processed and analyzed. Kay labi na kung ang inyong study is about qualitative research niya, ang inyong design is phenomenological, so inyo gyud siyang i-describe giunsa pag-interpret ang data, no? Pag-process o pag-analyze. Kay ang quali ra ba, most of the data diha is man siya, mga discourse or mga words. Unlike with the quanti nga numerical figure siya. So ingon ana siya. Next, if you will apply statistical tests to analyze your data, identify the specific descriptive statistics and or inferential statistics that you will use. So kumbaga, kung unsa ang mga statistical tools nga panggamiton sa imuhang pag-analyze sa data nimo. So imuha na siyang i-describe. So in my case, so naay kuan 2 ang gigamit no sa ako ang data analyst sa pag-interpret sa ako ang data. Okay, so you can use of the mean. So we are all familiar with the mean, no? So begin enumerating by indenting once the paragraph and write the statistical tool you are using. Example is mean. It should be in sentence case in an bold format. So kaning giunsa na ko siya pagsulat, so munihang ginamin diri. It should be in sentence case and in bold format. So the following sentences will be then discuss the tool at the context of your study. Okay. Another. So kaning t-test. So if there are plenty of statistical tools that should be discussed, enumerate them one by one and discuss them at the context of your study. So kumbaga, kung unsa tong mga statistical tools nga panggamiton, enumerate gito siya tanan, no? So note, you will also include tables that will show how you will analyze your data. Example is the Likert scale, etc. So ang pinaka-common gid nga ginagamit sa research is kaning ginaingon nato nga Likert scale. So example, 4-point Likert scale. So we have there the point, then ang iyang scale, then description niya. So kung 3.28 to 4, strongly agree. So dapat ang iya pong difference is equal po siya, no? Uniform. Then sample pilot testing. So example lang ni ako ang i-present sa inyo ha. The students always exhibit research vigor. The students oftentimes exhibit research vigor. The students sometimes exhibit research vigor. The students never exhibit research vigor. Okay. So this one. So in writing our chapter 3, begin all the parts with level 2 heading, flash left, boldface, uppercase, and lowercase heading. Anyway, you will be given a guide, no, sa inyong institution kung saan ninyo present ang all the parts of your research paper soon. So mostly ang ginagamit yun nato, no, kay soft science man nabilong ang education. So ang atong ginagamit is unsa man EPA or the American Psychological Association 6th edition. So muna siya ato ang Bible, no, sa pagbuhat sa ato ang, especially when we are referring to the typography, no, unsa nga font style, unsa nga font size, unsa boldface ba siya, naka-italics ba siya. So nana siya dito tanan. So tanan guided ta nana siya dito sa EPA style. But then again, your institution has its thesis and dissertation writing guide, because in the PNU naagid sila gihatag sa amo ang guide nga igo na lang gid mi mag-encode, no? So na mga running head. So puhon maka-encounter mo ana kung you will continue your research journey. Okay. So kani example nga akong ihatag sa inyo is based gyapon sa akong study. So naagyapon kay kanang ginaingon nato nga introductory paragraph before you will discuss the statistical tools nga gigamit sa imong study. So in my study, ang akong gigamit is descriptive statistics, no? So specifically frequency, percentage, and mean. So sayo na siya kaayo. So, frequency and percentage. They were used to determine the profile of the grade 7 students of Libertad National in terms of their first language spoken and exposure to print and non-print reading materials. So, muna siya, frequency and percentage. Then sa mean, so nagamit kog mean katong pag-identify na sa level, sa ilahang proficiency level as to the different reading skills nga katong gi-present na ko kaganina. No? So, ang mga reading skills mo ni using phonetic analysis, using structural analysis, using contextual analysis, vocabulary building, finding the main idea, classifying and organizing facts, inferring meanings, drawing conclusions, identifying parts of a book, and using dictionaries, encyclopedias, and other reference books. So, kanisha, this is according to katong kay Villamin. Then, pag-interpret po sa result, ang gigamit na ko is katong proficiency level as proposed by Johnson, Kress, and Pikolsky 1987 na until now, mo'y ginagamit nato sa PhilErie, if you are familiar with that. 80 to 100 instructional, 59 to 79 frustration, 58 and below. Okay, so nga na. So independent, 80 to 100 rather, instructionals, 59 to 79, frustration, 58% and below. Okay, another is MPS. So, gikuha ang MPS sa matag reading skill, no? So, it was used in identifying the list mastered reading competencies of the respondents when grouped according to their profile. So, those were the statistical tools na gigamit in my research. Frequency and percentage, mean percentage score. But then again, iba sing maproblema na punta, no? So, verdict, no? The final verdict will be coming from your panelists, your advisor, and your data analyst. So tandem din na silang tulo, especially when you are in the course of the making of your paper soon sa inyuhang tuan after your after you completed all your academic requirements. Okay, so source. So, ang references na ako is from Sir Kevin Salbanian, no? Katong ang tagnaw, the Agusan del Sur Research Manual, Volume 1, pages 7 to 10. If you are interested, so I have a copy. Pwede na ako siya ihatag kang Rosemary. PNU Thesis Dissertation Writing Guide. So, I have also a copy of this. Pwede na po na ako siya ihatag sa inyo nga as your dugang ninyo nga reference soon. Okay, so it's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. So I hope you learned something from my discussion this afternoon. Okay, so questions?
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Lovely, for that very comprehensive discussion.
Okay, so if you have questions, feel free to ask me, no?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. I have a question po.
Yes, ma'am.
Katong mudra sa katong population sampling gani, ma'am, di ba? Katong sa imong gi-present nga sample is na ay 7 nga wala ato nila.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yun sa kanang sampling, kaisa lang na siya i-conduct like para ato pito man to sila wala dili ba to sila itapas para kay like makapekto ba siya sa kana kumbaga validity sa imong pagkuan sa study sample sa imong study.
Okay, so
Wala
thank
akong question. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that question, ma'am, no? Okay, so in my experience, katong 11 ka buok nga wala jud siya naka-appeal sa ako ang pagkandak nako sa ako ang pag-administer na nako sa final test. So I tried to reach for them, but unfortunately, kato siya nga mga estudyante, nag-drop naman gud siya, ma'am. Sumuna nga wala na siya, ma'am. Wala na gyud na nakuhaan nako og data. So anyway, 11 compared to 171. So same question, wala, dili man kayo siya maka-apekto sa result sa imuhang study, ma'am. Gawas kung 50% ang mawala, so dako gid siya kaayo nga kanang epekto sa imuhang validity sa imuhang result puhon.
Another question po din tana, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Sige ra, ma'am.
Katong ano gani, ma'am, katong katong live experience or lived experience ba to sa mga solo parent?
Yes,
Lived experience. Kung ma'am baka lang, naba na siya minimum number, for example, sa school nga kanang you are assigned with what if kanang gusto ko mag-conduct pero 15 lang sila kabuok out of shall I say mga 300 or 200 population.
Yes, ma'am.
Would it be valid after all if kuan kanang mag-conduct og study about them?
Okay, ma'am. Sige. Unsa man imuhang gamiton, first ma'am, imo sa inyong i-identify unsa ang imuhang research design nga gamiton sa imuhang study. Kay kung ang imong gamiton is case study, so pwede ra gid ma'am nga isa ra ang imuhang respondent.
Okay.
So nakadepende gid siya tanan ma'am sa imuhang research design nga imuhang gamiton.
Kung kuan ma'am, like action research, mapol, pwede ba siya mapol if action research ang kuan? Gamiton, nga
Okay, ma'am, sa action research, kung ang imo, kuan man gud ma'am, kung sa action research, pwede ka mo gamit og quali, pwede ka mo gamit og quanti. So, pwede ra siya kaayo, ma'am, kung sa action research o ang imuhang gamiton kay case study, so pwede ra nga gamay ra ang imuhang respondents.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, welcome, ma'am. Okay, another question. Okay. Do you still have question, participants? So if you want to grab a copy of my presentation, so pwede ra ninyo i-kuanon kang Rosemary. Then as to the mga guides, so I have here many, including the researches na gibuhat sa ako ang mga students. Kay I am practicing my students to use the kuan gyud katong full-blown research gyud siya nga from chapters 1 to chapters 5. Including the front and the back matters.
Classmates, if you have some questions, you can now raise your hand or you can type your questions on the messenger.
I think Sir Jeffrey raised his hand.
Yes?
Sir Jeffrey?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have question po kay Ma'am Lovely?
Yes, ma'am. I-type lang
Okay.
ako.
I am going to read this one. No? Okay, how do you treat outliers? How do you treat outliers in a data set? For data analysis daw, how do you treat outliers in a data set?
Okay, so for that, ma'am, I am not familiar with that. Sabi siya? Question. Okay, how do you treat outliers in a data set?
Permission to talk.
Yes, sir.
On chapter 3, I guess there's an inhibitants of the statistical professor. Speaking of treatment, magbase ra pud na sa kung unsa na i-research instrument ang imong gigamit and to those what type of scale or research method ang imong gamiton. So I bet that our speaker right now cannot identify what treatment should be applied in that particular circumstances.
Yes, sir. So I'm not for the data analysis, sir. Kanang dili jud ko makakuan sa mga treatment nga ipang-apply
Correct,
no.
ma'am.
Kay depende gid na sa kuan, sir, sa imuhang study.
Definitely, ma'am, the chapter 3 would be whether we like it or not, it's not the researcher who make the statistical treatment, but the statistical professor that you hired to be the statistician of your study.
Yes, sir. Kailangan gid ang final verdict ana, sir.
Correct, ma'am.
Any other questions?
Okay. Are there still questions?
Wala na bagan, ma'am. Wala may naningog.
Okay, so that ends my presentation. So again, I would like to extend my felicitation to all of you, no, for the trust and confidence that you give to me as one of your speakers for your webinar series in research. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, ma'am.
much po.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for
You're welcome.
Okay, let us go to the question and answer by Jessa B. Soterania. Ma'am?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, are you ready for the question and answer? Ready no maka-receive of 50,000 pesos Gcash? Alright, sige, let's start. Are you ready? Uy, wala may naningog. Mas wala mo answer, Ani. Okay.
Ready naman.
Okay, sige, let's start. Okay, am I visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so question and answer portion. Okay, so before we start or before I give the question, nalang ko yung mga gamay na mechanics, no? For us to be able to guided ta sa ato mga i-answer. Okay, the first one, the answer should be capitalize or caps lock para intense daw, no? Dapat kanang atong answer is naka-caps lock siya or capitalize. Okay? The second one, the first one to type and send the answer on the chat box will be the winner. So I know kabalo ta tanan sa answer, pero papaspasay ni siya og type, no? Diha lang nato i-kuan sa atong diri sa in-call messages. Okay? And I am also requesting Ma'am May Ann Labador to check or to identify the winner or the first one to type the correct answer. Okay, ma'am?
Yes po, ma'am.
And the last one, the winner will receive a GCash reward later after the activity. Okay, are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sige, let's start na, no? Without much further ado, let's start. Okay, question number 1. Okay, in this section, the researcher will explain the respondents and provides reasons of your choice. What's the answer? In this section, the researcher will explain the respondents and provides reasons of your choice. Nani na correct? Okay. The correct answer is... Daghan na nag-answer, Ma'am Mayan?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, the correct answer is participants slash subject of the study. Who's the winner?
Can we accept research participants, ma'am?
Ah, wala. Participants slash subject of the study. Wala na ako as answer.
Research
Wala po,
participants, ma'am, dili
Grade
ko
9 nag-answer
Wala
research
pong research
participants.
participants, ma'am.
dili na consider.
Research participants, I'm not sure. Napa ba si Ma'am Lovely Gay? Kay kanina question gibase lang ako ni sa iyang sa iyang presentation ganiha. So kung sa to iyang mga words or statement ito more dakong diri. I am not sure research participants subject of the study.
Okay, hello, ma'am.
Napa si Ma'am Lovely Gay?
Yes, ma'am. I'm still
Ay,
here.
hi, ma'am. Okay na daw, ma'am, research participants?
Yes, ma'am. Okay ra, ma'am.
Ah,
Research
okay, sige. Alright. Kinsang winner, ma'am? Mayan.
Mahel Gindoman po, ma'am.
Okay, si Mama Jel. Okay, congratulations, Mama Jel. Okay, the second one. Question number 2. In this section, one should not forget to mention the source for instruments that were adopted. Again, in this section, one should not forget to mention the source for instruments that were adopted. Okay. Okay, the correct answer is research instrument. Who got the correct answer? Dapat nakakuanhan, nakakaps lock, or nakakapitalize.
Again, Mama Majel Gindulman pa rin, ma'am.
Ay, grabe si Mama Jel. Uy, ma'am, give chance to others daw, ma'am. Si Mama Jel again.
Mama Majel,
Ma'am, give chance to others daw, ma'am. How about the others? Papaspasay daw ni siya.
I think Miss Rachel Kagabkab got the first correct answer.
Si Ma'am Rachel? Rachel.
Yes, ma'am. Based on the chat box.
Okay, Rachel Kagabka. Okay, congratulations. The next one, sige, ang upay na pud no, ma-participate para kuan ka nang maka-receive ta og reward. No, bahala gamay basta kay mapahalipay ta. Okay, the next question, question number 3. In this part, the first paragraph will talk about the preliminary procedures done by the researchers before gathering the data. In this part, the first paragraph will talk about the preliminary procedures done by the researchers before gathering the data. Okay.
the answer mo.
Okay, the correct answer is data gathering procedure.
Okay. Congratulations, Ma'am Joylyn Amado.
Okay, Ma'am Joylyn Amado. Okay, the next question is, ano ni siya? True or false? So, kailangan na ninyo isulat ang true if this statement is true, and then false if the statement is false. Dili T ug F, ha? Okay, question number 4. If you will apply a statistical test to analyze your data, identify the general descriptive statistics and or inferential statistics that you will use. Again, if you will apply a statistical test to analyze your data, identify the general descriptive statistics and or inferential statistics that you will use. True or false? Okay, the correct answer is, what's the answer? False. That's false. Ang sa may naka-false ani nga question kaning general. Instead of general, this is specific. Okay, identify the specific descriptive statistics. So that's false. Kasi na correct answer.
Ma'am Arlene Durango po, ma'am.
Okay, Ma'am Marlene Dorango. Uy, kagrupo naman na to ata ni. Si Ma'am Marlene. Okay, the last number, question number 5. Question number 5 is multiple choice. So you are going to write the letter and also the correct answer. Okay? The letter and also the correct answer. Question number 5. The first sentence should state whether it is experimental, correlational, descriptive, quantitative, qualitative, or combination, historical, etc., which you are using in your study. This statement refers to letter A, research design, letter B, research methodology, letter C, data analysis, letter D, procedure. Okay, write the letter and also the correct answer. Okay, the correct answer is letter A, research design.
Okay, congratulations, Ma'am Rochamaila Sunyen. Ay, hindi pala. Ay, mamaya na mo. Si... Ano po yung answer? Research design.
Sir Matt Rufin, kaso
Sir Matt.
narrow spelling ang research design.
Dapat
Ano,
correct spelling.
research.
Tanggapin na answer dito. Nakauna si Sir Matt.
Miss Ma'am Catherine, research, Catherine Miranda, got the correct answer. First,
Ma'am Kathleen Miranda po, ma'am.
Ma'am, what's the name? Catherine?
Kathleen Miranda.
Catherine Miranda. Okay. Congratulations, everyone. Congratulations to the winners. And also, thank you so much for your participation. Later, no, I will send the GCash reward, no, 50,000 pesos. Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, ma'am.
Participants. This time is the awarding of certificates. Ate, keep quiet, ate. Let me read the text. Republic of the Philippines, North Erskine, Mindanao State University, Rosario Tandag Campus. Certificate of Commendation is presented to Ma'am Lovely K. E. Tagupa, Master of Education, in grateful acknowledgement and sincere appreciation as a resource speaker during the one-day webinar entitled Webinar Series on Research Methodology conducted on March 26, 2023 at Northeastern Mindanao State University, Tandag Campus, given this 26th day of March 2023 at NEMSO Tandag, Rosario, Tandag City. Signed, Princess Alip T. Baguod Handugan, MBA instructor, and signed by Evelyn T. Baguod, EDD Dean, Graduate School. Ma'am? Thank you so much, ma'am. Lovely for your expertise sharing us with us here this afternoon. Am
You're
I audible?
welcome. Yes, you're welcome.
The certificates of the participants will be sent to your Gmails. A closing remarks will be given to us by Sir Leo O. Montenegro. Sir?
Good afternoon. Oh my God, wala akong ma-aware na ako pero hatag ang closing remarks, no? Um, uh, my due respect to our university president, Dr. Nemesio Gilo Ayon, and to the um, key officials, and of course to our instructor, Ma'am Handugan, and to the resource speaker, Ma'am, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and knowledge to us, no? To magamit naman ni siya in the near future. Um, excuse me. Um, to all participants and to the um, committee, thank you so much for um, making this webinar possible, and to the again to the speaker, thank you so much, ma'am, and to Ma'am Handugan. All I can say is thank you so much. Maula to, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you po, Sir Leo Montenegro. The attendance form will be sent here in our messages. Closing prayer by Maria Cristangel T. Concha.
Let us all put our presence in the presence of our Lord. Okay, dear God, as we come to the end of this webinar, we thank you for the knowledge that has been shared and the insights that we have gained. We ask for your blessings upon all the attendees, the presenter, and the organizers of this event. May we always seek the truth and may we use our research to bring about good in the world. Help us to be diligent, thorough, and ethical in all our research endeavors. May we be guided by your wisdom and grace as we continue to learn and grow in our understanding of the world. Finally, we ask that you bless us as we depart from this webinar, and that may we all be safe and well. Let your love and mercy be with us always, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Instructions and announcements will be given to us by our instructor, Ma'am Princess Alif T. Baguod Hendugan, MBA. Ma'am?
For a while. Okay, so next meeting, April 1, is your scheduled midterm examinations, no? Tama ba? April 1 na ba ang next Saturday?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, so um, so for midterm exam compilation, so extended ang submission, no, but the certificates should be submitted or ipakita sa April 1, no? Itong tulo ka certificates from webinar, first webinar to up to the webinar today, no? Since our webinar series is until April 29, no, as early as May 6, 2023, the compilation must be submitted. So, pinaka-deadline na ang May 6 ng inyong compilation itong sa iyong midterm. no? So, kung may mag-submit ng compilation on April 1, much better. So, ang pinaka-deadline na is on May 6, 2023. So, as much as possible or mas madayaw kung taga-Tandag ang hawid ng iyong compilation para if ever matapos na, masubmit rin ninyo. So, dili na mo biyahe, no? And then, group midterm. So, you have there the activity design or the proposal, then the documentation, the e-poster, summary of attendance through Google Form, no? And then the program, and then the certificate of attendance na yung design, sample only, and then individual na din itong certificates. Okay, so ang setup ng inyong schedule for April 1 kay murag fully loaded sa kamo. For MAHET Block A, so you have now your schedule ba para sa April 1 kung what time?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon. Wala.
Ma'am, nag-send ko sa GC, dito sa ato GC sa graduate school that sa ma-SSC Block A, if possible, if mo agree ang iba because mostly nakabasa naman sa message na if possible, we will have it on 11 to 12 a.m.
Okay. MASST Block A, 11 to 12
Yes po, ma'am.
ang suggested. So, agree ba ang tanan? Please, thumbs up sa mga mag-agree.
Agree, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Jelmer Cabag, nag-raise siya ng hands. Lagi.
I would like to clarify, ma'am. I'm from MASST Block A. If 11 to 12 na mo i-take ang exam, magmutan lang tanan ko ma'am kung taas ba ang exam or mubo lang siya in bag dili makaya sa 1 hour. So possible, we need extra time para ana.
Short quiz lang yun siya. So, 30 minutes kaya na siguro.
Okay, ma'am. So I go for 11 to 12 also.
Okay, and then
Thank
that
you,
time
ma'am.
also, you will show your certificates. No, kaya check na ako. Okay? So, please prepare na.
Classmates sa ma-SSC, na naman po si Mamalong.
Sige. Ang Block B sa MASST. Block B, wala Block B. Same ba ang Block B? 11 to 12 gihapon?
Sa ako, ira ang mga MSTHE.
Sa SST. Sa SST. Na Block B. 11 to 12. Sige.
Oo.
Ang wala pa schedule is ang HET. Okay? So, please message me na lang taga Mahet Block A, for your schedule, para ma-aware ako. Okay? So, sige, 11 to 12 will be our schedule next meeting, April 1. Okay. So, okay na? Yes?
Ma'am Princess.
Yes?
Ma'am Princess. We decided sa among block sa MHTHE that since may amo man klase sa 8 to 11 then 1 to 3, it would be possible that we would take the time the 3 to 5 p.m. for the quiz for the next
3 to
Saturday. Yes po.
Okay.
And if ma-early mi, pwede naman mi mo merge sa other sections if kaya na mo 1 to 3 given if dili mag klase among instructor.
11 to 12 sila.
Kung 11 to 12 then, if dili magklase among instructor then, we can go with 11 to 12. Pero, ang among specific schedule is 3 to 5 p.m. jud ma'am kay nagid mi klase ana. Pero if mo ana siya on that day na dili mi mag-meet, then if naanhin na siya sila diri sa tandag, then musulod na lang mig 11 to 12.
Okay. Okay. Are there any clarifications?
Ma'am, I have a clarifications po.
Yes, Miss Saturania.
Ma'am, it's not related with the schedule. Katong about sa compilation of the narrative report and other documents, ma'am. Kami lang ba ang mo ano ma'am or magbutang ba ni og kanang cover page, ma'am, or kami lang ang magbuot? Na ba siya cover page?
Pwede lang maghimo ng cover page para mabutangan sa ninyo ng inyong names.
Oh, grupo. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Oo. Para makabalo ko kinsa nagpasa.
Okay, better, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Mao lang to siya. Salamat kaayo.
Any other clarifications or wala na? Wala na. So, pwede ko pa-take down na ay kadali ng PowerPoint presentation and then mag-open cam for the documentation.
Okay, yes.
Ano na? Mag-open cam. Okay, ready? Ready na. 1, 2. Okay. Okay, so no more clarifications. If wala na, pwede na mo exit.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, classmates, for your time and participation.
Thank you po to the speaker and to the group 3 and also to our advisor. Thank you po.
Ma'am, pwede magpabilin sa ang group 3 para naalang tayo ka ng meeting ka dali para sa atong compilation.
Oo. Sige, mag-exit na ko.